Hi, and welcome to week 3. Today I am going to talk about how to stop the negative self-talk, or how we can stop these negative thoughts about ourselves in our heads. Because mainly they are usually in our heads. We don't really go around and talk negatively about ourselves to other people. Some people do, but most people don't. But most people do it to some extent. So let's start from the beginning. Imagine when you are first born. Your brain is just a totally empty canvas. You can do whatever you want with it. You have a pre-programmed instinct, which is true, but you don't have any pre-programmed neural pathways. And for those of you who haven't watched my previous videos, a neural pathway, it's just what we're doing, something that we have learned, a learned behavior. So walking is a neural pathway. It involves all the different movements of walking. That is one neural pathway, so that we don't have to think about it. These things are just happening automatically. And this is one of the reasons that kids actually learn things really quickly, because they don't have any interference with conflicting beliefs or conflicting behaviors. They just absorb it and learn it once and for all, and once they've learned it, to change it is much harder. And that's unfortunately what we have to deal with. So everything that we learn from this point on when we're children is going to be programmed into different neural pathways in our brains. And if they're used often enough, they will be put on autopilot. So things like walking and brushing your teeth and cutting the steak, whatever it might be, once you have learned how to do these things, they no longer require much brain juice at all. They're on autopilot, you will just do them and you will be able to focus on something else. While if you're cutting your steak, you can have conversation with someone, and that's brilliant. It's perfect, that's exactly what we want. We wouldn't want to have to think about everything that we do constantly, because we would be very, very inefficient doing that. But it's terrible when it comes to negative beliefs about ourselves. So examples could be that you're thinking that I'm always going to be fat, or other people can quit sugar, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that ever. Or ice cream is just God's gift to humankind, and I couldn't possibly ever resist that. Or I can't socialize without food, because how would I do that? Then it's just impossible. Those kind of things. So if you have those kind of thoughts, it's going to be very, very hard for you to quit sugar, because you so firmly believe that these thoughts are true. So if your thought is that I'm always going to be fat, and you start losing weight, initially you're going to be quite happy about it, and then you're going to get closer to your goal weight and you're thinking, hello, I can't lose fat. And many people start to self-sabotage at this point to prove that they're always going to be fat. So by having this belief, they are preventing themselves to go the full way and actually achieve it. And they don't know what happened. They just think, well, I knew it. I'm always going to be fat. That's just me. It's just going to happen. So that is why most of the time when we think about our future, we project our past onto that future. It's so much more difficult to imagine that the future could look different than it has done in the past. And it's so much more difficult to use our imagination to create new thoughts than it is to rely on old ones that we have already thought several times. Maybe thousands of times or millions of times. That's easy. We practice it so many times that we don't have to think about it. They just come automatically. Perfect. So to be able to create a new future, a future where you're strong, you're powerful, and you no longer eat sugar, you have to create new thoughts. And those are most likely thoughts that you have never thought before or never believed in before. So if you sit down and you think about the future that you want, you will most likely notice that your thoughts want to go back to the past and find evidence of how you could possibly achieve this and how to achieve this. Your brain will ask you, okay, so if you think that you're going to do this, how are you going to do it? Prove it. It will want to find out how you can reach your goal. And if it does not find the answer, it will want to shut it down. So that's very often when we try to achieve something and I say, I'm going to lose 10 kilos before Christmas. And my brain is saying, how do you think you're going to do that then? I say, I'm just going to eat well. Oh, well, you tried that in the past. Didn't work, did it? Well, maybe I'll just have to fast then. As if you can do that, you're going to get hungry. You can't fast until you lost 10 kilos. That's unhealthy. That's no good for you. And it will keep coming up with excuses for why you're not going to make it. And your brain is programmed for survival. So it wants to use all the things that it has used in the past to keep you alive. So all the things that it has learned that has worked, whether they are optimal or not, it will bring them up because it's safe. And a very good way of doing this is the negative self-talk. If your brain can convince you that you won't succeed for whatever reason, it has done its job. It has kept you where you are now, you're safe, nothing bad is going to happen, there are no changes, all is good. So for example, when you see me here on YouTube, I'm talking to you all, you might think that I'm confident and I know exactly what I'm doing, but truth to be told, my brain has many times tried to shut me down and telling me things like, you're a nutritionist, you should stick to nutrition because that is what you're really good at. Or there are true experts out there that have been doing this for decades and they're much better at it, so why do you even bother? Or why would anyone listen to you? You're just Pim. Who's Pim? Who's going to care what Pim has to say? Or it wasn't that long ago since you actually quit sugar, so what makes you think that you're an expert? What makes you think that you're going to be able to teach other people? Those kind of things. And then I have to deal with those thoughts and think, well, I have taught other people to quit sugar. I can do that. Why would people listen to me? Because I have done it. I'm a nutritionist and that is giving me an advantage. Now I have 2 tools that I can use. Or the true experts that have been out there for 10 years or longer and know this better than me, they might be really, really good at that. But they might not be able to connect with the people that are on the level that I am, that are just starting out, or the true experts are usually involved in addiction recovery, and that's not where I'm looking at. I'm looking at people that have cravings and want to quit sugar, not necessarily are deeply addicted to sugar, because that can be another layer on top of that. So I've had all those thoughts. They're not very useful, and basically what I'm doing is that I'm looking at those thoughts and I find better thoughts, or I turn them around like I did here. I'm a nutritionist. Yes, great. That's an additional tool that I can use to help my clients. Perfect. Why not? I don't have to listen to what my brain's saying. I can think for myself. So when you're using your creativity or imagination to come up with new solutions, your primitive brain will get scared, and you just have to expect that. Expect that to happen, and then take it from there. So don't get surprised when this happens and get scared and run off and think, oh my god, I have to stop doing this. It's new territory, it's unknown, your brain doesn't know if you're going to survive this or not. So you need to kind of start thinking outside the box a bit. So first of all, you need to ask yourself, what is your goal? What is it that you want to achieve here? Do you want to quit sugar completely? Is it to just be in control of your cravings, which is what I've done? Or is it something else, like you might want to cure your type 2 diabetes? You decide what the goal is. And then if you want to cure your type 2 diabetes, how far are you willing to go to do that? Are you willing to quit all sugar, monitor your blood sugar on a daily basis, several times a day, see what's happening and react to it? Are you willing to do all that hard work? Because that's going to be required. And then you need to ask yourself, what do you need to believe to reach your goal? So if you believe that you can't quit sugar, then you're not going to be able to. So you have to find a new belief. And finally, how do you start believing this new thought that you're not yet believing in? So there are thoughts that you can have that you could believe in, but you don't quite do it yet. So I'm going to give you a few examples, or at least one. So first, I just want to say that everything that you feel and create in your life is a result of what you are actually thinking. So if you can change your thoughts, you will be able to change your results. So you need to figure out what your current thoughts are. So just take a moment, have a little think about, what am I actually thinking about me in relation to sugar and my ability to quit sugar? What is it that I'm thinking? Start asking yourself questions around that. And how is that thinking making me feel? And what do I do when I feel that way? And what you do will just determine what is happening, whether you are successful or not with quitting sugar. And also pay attention to, different type of feelings. They're different. You might have many thoughts that create many different feelings, and just where those lead. So I'm going to give you an example then, and I'm going to give you my example. So I used to have a belief that I can't ever quit sugar completely. Actually, that is not true. Actually, I still have that belief. Because I'm not fully committing to quitting sugar completely yet. I still want to have sugar in my life from time to time under controlled circumstances. So let's take another sentence that I could use. So I used to think that I can never eat sugar in a moderate amount. And that is true. I used to think that too. I used to think that I can't quit, and I used to think that I can never eat it in moderation. So this thought would clearly make me feel as if I was out of control, as if I didn't have a choice. When I was around sugar, I was never going to eat it in moderation, and I would fulfill this prophecy and I would just go for it. It's there, and I don't know how many times I've said it to people. If you put a plate of cookies or a packet of whatever in front of me, I will eat them until they are gone. That is what I believed about myself. And back there my brain is saying, you still believe it. But I have proven myself several times over that this is no longer true, because I actually believe that I am in control. But my brain will still want to trick me back into that. And then the more I fulfill this prophecy, or this belief that I have, the more I'm going to want to do it. Because it's not just about the psychological cravings, it's also the physiological ones. So the more sugar I feed myself, the more sugar I will want to have. Now I believe that I have full control over how much sugar I consume and when to consume it. So I am in control, and I'm choosing when and if to eat sugar. So when I plan on not having sugar, I don't have sugar. When I plan on having sugar, I have it at the quantity that I want, or less. Less is always alright, because that's not the problem here. So my thought is that I'm in control of how much sugar I consume, and the amount that I'm eating now is always, I say always, I spoke a few weeks ago about a recent-ish fail that I had, but most of the time I am sticking to the amount that I have said that I'm going to do. What I discovered when I did that experiment, or when I failed, was that I need to have a bit stricter guidelines, because if I allow myself to go wider, I will go wider, and then I will start testing myself and move the limits, and that's not a helpful thing at all. So when I can eat as much as I had planned to eat, and the type of sugary foods that I want to eat. So if I'm saying that I'm having ice cream tomorrow, and I'm going to have 1 bowl of ice cream, and I'm going to have it after 8 o'clock, then I'm going to have a bowl of ice cream. And every time I do this, that will reinforce my belief that I am in control of my sugar intake. I am in control of how much I'm eating and when I'm eating it. And that will just start making me believe in this belief even harder. It will just reinforce it, and that is super cool, and you should try it. It is really super cool. So that's why I'm always saying that set reasonable expectations on yourself. So if you think that you can do a bowl of ice cream only, good, you can have that. But if you think maybe I will want 2 and maybe I can't stop myself, okay, you can allow yourself to have a whole tub of ice cream if you like, as long as you eat it between 8 and 10. You have 2 hours to do it. And you stop when you feel like it doesn't actually taste that nice anymore. So set yourself up for success, because that is going to help reinforce the positive belief that you can have about yourself. So I could have decided to not have sugar at all. I can decide to never have sugar again if I want to. But deep down inside, I know that I'm not quite ready to go there yet. And I'm still enjoying it when I have it, but I only have it occasionally nowadays, and the thing is that I'm actually enjoying it less every time I have it. It's you're deconditioning yourself to the taste almost. And when I'm having it, it's really good, but I'm feeling satisfied with the amount that I've had much quicker than I used to. So clearly my dopamine receptors have reset, and they will react to it, and then we're like, this is nice. But then, well, we had enough energy, I think we're done. And that is a nice feeling. In the beginning, it actually made me feel a bit sad. It was like, oh, I can only enjoy sugar for 10 bites now. I used to be able to enjoy it for a whole evening. And now I can only enjoy it this long, because after that it starts to not really taste nice anymore. But that is an emotional thing. That I'm almost grieving not having the sugar there anymore. So rather than focusing on that, I want to focus on how brilliant it is that that is happening, because my ultimate goal is actually that I don't want to have any emotions attached to sugar. I would love to not actually like sugar. I would love if I didn't want it, if it just didn't taste good to me anymore. That's where I want to go, but I don't think I'm quite ready to go there yet. But my belief is that as time passes, that will become less of an issue for me on its own, because that's the path that it's heading. That's what I've noticed so far, but I'm still not quite there. And eventually I will most likely not want to have it very often at all, if at all. And that would be brilliant. So, if you want to change your thinking, you will have to start with being aware of what you're thinking right now. And then you want to recognize that what you are thinking right now is actually making you feel a certain emotion, a certain way. And therefore, it will actually create the results that you get in your life. So whatever thoughts that you create, those thoughts will have an impact in your life and your ability to quit sugar. And therefore also in your belief of yourself, or in yourself. So in the example that I gave you above, that I still don't believe that I can quit sugar, or that I can't ever quit sugar, that belief will create a Pim that still eats some sugar. And that's where I am. I still eat some sugar. But I decide when I'm eating sugar. I'm not going to the supermarket and buy lots of sweet stuff when I haven't planned on doing that. I'm not baking cakes at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not giving in when other people are eating sugar around me. I can say no thank you, I'm not eating sugar today. And I'm actually quite content about that. I feel good about it rather than feeling deprived. I feel like I'm accomplishing something here. I'm much stronger, and I'm actually pretty damn good for doing it. So believe me when I say I'm over the moon that I am in control of that and my cravings and everything. So don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm not in a hurry to get to the end point, to get to where I don't want sugar at all anymore. I could live the rest of my life the way I'm doing now and be happy about it. But I know intellectually that it would be much healthier and better for me if I didn't eat any sugar at all. And maybe one day I will get there. But I'm not quite there yet. If I believed it already, I wouldn't eat sugar. What I do believe is what I'm already doing. And what I'm telling you now is that the belief has to come first. So remember this. If you do not believe it, you won't be able to create it. So we don't just accomplish things when we don't believe that we can. Sometimes with some things you might see a short-term change, or something might click when someone finally manages to do something and they suddenly start believing that they can do it, if it happens by accident. But as a general rule, that doesn't happen, and especially not when it comes to habits like quitting sugar, because to be honest, you're doing it already. There are probably days where you're not having sugar, and if there's not a whole day, there are probably several hours strung together where you're not eating sugar. So in effect, you can do it already. It's just that you don't believe that you can. So for example, if you don't think that you can go without sugar for one day, challenge yourself, try it. Because if you are actually managing to do it one day, then you know that you can do it one day. And then you can take it further, and you can challenge yourself and say, hey, I could do one day. I'm pretty sure I can do 2 days. And do that. And just take it from there. Take it on a daily basis. Sometimes when you feel like, yeah, I've gone 2 days, but now I'm going crazy, then you decide, tomorrow I'm going to eat sugar, and that's okay. But you have proven that you can do 2 days already. You have created this positive belief that actually I am able to go this long without sugar. And that is a good thing, rather than focusing on the negative. So now, you can choose any thought that you want to believe on earth. The thought that I chose before I was in control was, I am going to learn how to be in control of my cravings. That is very believable to me, because I think that I can learn pretty much anything. And before I actually started doing that, I didn't know that it was a skill that I could actually learn. It sounds silly, but I didn't know that it was a skill. I thought it was something that was just in my biology, that this is how I'm going to be the rest of my life. I didn't know that I could develop the skill of managing my cravings. So that was new. So now that I knew that I can learn this as a skill, that was quite empowering to me. So I'm going to learn how to be in control of cravings, and that is what I did. I actually started when I had a week off work, and I started doing the work that was needed. I quit sugar, I explored my cravings, and I was really curious about what was going on during this whole process. So I was looking at it as a learning opportunity, where I could learn about how I function and how I can grow in this area, rather than feeling that I'm having a week of work and I'm just going to sit here and deprive myself of sugar and feel sorry for myself. That's not very empowering, and it's not going to work long term. So I was curious about it. I took some notes, I was analyzing it, and I realized what it actually was, and it was nothing. The cravings are nothing. They're just thoughts, silly thoughts in my head that trigger me to want to go and eat something sweet. And that's all they were. So I felt curious and I felt determined, which led me to practice this by the book for several weeks. So this first week when I didn't work, it was quite intense. I was really going for it. I was sitting down, I was paying attention constantly to not miss anything. And then I just continued doing that to the best of my ability while I was working as well. But as a result of that, I learned how to be in control of my cravings. So by me having the belief that I'm going to learn this, I actually focused on the learning process and I lived it. I practiced it every day and then I got the results. Now I know how to handle my cravings. So you can pick any thought that you want that will help you to believe in yourself or your ability to quit sugar or whatever you want to believe. Practice it and live it until you fully believe in it. As long as it's something that you think that you can do. So there must be some sort of basic belief in it. But now you just practice it until it goes on autopilot, until there's no question in your mind whether you believe it or not, and you will see the results in your life. There are two things that I want you to pay attention to when you pick your thought. The first one is that you have to believe it, as I said, and the second one is that it has to feel better than your current thought. So obviously you want to achieve something positive here, and your current thought, I can't ever lose weight or whatever, is obviously not very positive. So you want to pick something that feels much better than that. But a thought like, I'm going to learn how to be in control of my cravings is very, very believable to me, because I already believe that I can learn anything. So that was an easy one for me. Now you can pick whatever you want, but that might be a good thing for you as well, that I can learn how to do X, Y, Z. Today I can see how quitting sugar completely may be a reality for me in the future. I'm not quite there yet, as I've said, but I can see that that is a possibility for me. But I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. I'm just so thrilled with what I've already accomplished so far, and that I can live my life the way that I want to live it without all the brain chatter that doesn't bother me anymore. And that's brilliant. So if you are struggling with coming up with a belief to believe, or you're struggling with changing it, you don't really know how to move forward, I just want to remind you that on the 24th of October for most of the world, or 25th here in New Zealand, I'm having a live session for all the members in my membership site, where you can come on and you can ask me any questions. You can get help with any questions from these monthly topics, or just help with cravings management in general, or whatever it might be. The details are posted under the monthly topic tab in October, where you can sign up for this call. There's a calendar link there so that you know where to be and when to be. So if you're not yet a member and you want to quit sugar, I would encourage you to become a member, and you can find the sign up link in the description to this video, and it's totally free. So that's free. The live call every month is free. It's just an addition to these 4 sessions that I do, where I'm talking about a specific topic every month, so that you basically to help you move forward and sort out any confusion that there might be about how to actually do it. So lastly, if you like the materials that I'm producing here on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it for all I know, share it with everyone, just spread the love and make this channel grow quicker than it does currently. That would be awesome. It doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, that was that. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the description or the comments underneath the video. I'm starting to get a bit brain fog here. Or, as I said, turn up on the 24th of October 2019 and we can have a little chat about it. So I'll see you again next week. Bye!